What's up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Undrafted Views. We're here. We talk sports from the sidelines. And today we're going to do a recap of the Christmas Day games. Let's get into it.
So the first matchup of the day was the Atlanta Hawks in the Madison Square Garden to face the New York Knicks. This ended up being a pretty good game. I mean, at least I thought so.
I thought it was a pretty good game as well. What I was anticipating did not happen because, again, the Hawks were missing core players on their roster. So the revenge game, I didn't think that was it. And the Knicks actually, because the Hawks were missing so many of their core players, the Knicks were supposed to win this game.
Yeah.
Had they not won the game, then we would be speaking differently. But why wouldn't they? We're talking about Young, Williams, Gallinari, Hunter, Herder. They
Yeah.
were, core players on the Hawks that were not there. So the fact that the Hawks lost, I guess they were supposed to.
Hmm.
If you consider, with Kemba Walker coming back as, doing his thing. I mean, the resurgence of Kemba Walker. I mean, who knew that being cast off to the end of the bench and then being brought back when the team really needed you and you were able to now show up. That's the Kemba Walker that they brought over anyway. So yeah, no, I'm okay with what it was. I thought it was a good game. It didn't give me the revenge game that I was really anticipating. So
I know it really didn't. But the New York Knicks were without quickly
yeah.
and Nerlens Noel. And I was looking
Mhm.
forward to seeing Nerlens and Julius Randle down on the block. Didn't get a chance to see that. So I was a little disappointed there. I actually picked the Atlanta Hawks to win this game. So I was wrong there. Who did you have?
I had the Hawks as well. I had the Hawks as well because I really thought that the core would be playing. But with the health and safety protocols at this point, any prediction that you believe that you make is probably going to be a bust because you never know who's going to actually show up around this. The players are not showing up because they can't. So I had the Hawks, but I'm not mad at the Knicks one. It's great for them. They needed that. They're still below 10. So what?
I
They
know it.
currently the Hawks or and the Knicks are still not in the play-in tournament positioning. So what? But it's still early, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me was Kimball Walker. He did that. He did that again.
He
Now,
did.
no, he did what he had his first triple double, like the Knicks' first triple double on Christmas Day. It was huge for him and huge for Madison Square Garden. They were at home. All of that matters, right? So when you win, you want to be able to win at home, especially on Christmas Day. So it's really good for them.
Hmm.
It was a good game. It was a good game. I can't get mad at it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to tip my hat to Tom Thibodeau because I think this was part of his strategy. I always thought, Tom was a great coach. This may have been like his little, strategy to light some fire under Kemba Walker.
Oh, but you know what though, and rightfully so. If you look at Kimball Walker's performance in November, it was horrible. So
Hmm.
the fact that he was set down is not a bad thing. It didn't look good. You don't want to be a player in the league and a star nonetheless. He may not be a superstar, but Kimball Walker's a star. Let's talk about it. He is somebody that teams people know, right? And so to be set down, it's like, oh, come on, a hit to the ego,
I know.
right? But I get it because I guess that must have been, like you mentioned, Thibodeau's strategy from the beginning because who he is in December. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he needed out of Kimball Walker. So, yeah, his November performance was horrible. So, it makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, Kimba calls it a blessing in disguise. And hey, I think I agree with him on that. So the New York Knicks won that matchup 101-87. The next game of the day was the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. Man, I thought the Boston Celtics had that game.
They did. They
Oh,
did.
mm-hmm.
They did. They had the game until Giannis woke up and was like, okay, I'm back. Because, that was Giannis's first game back since he's been out for health and safety protocols.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first half of the game was very slow for Giannis. But he was like, oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Here I come. And he
Uh-huh.
came. So,
Ooh, unbelievable. The way he took over the game. Let's see. The Celtics have always had a hard time getting going third and fourth quarter, right? And this game was no different.
mhm.
They basically beat the Bucks in the first and second quarter. And then in the third quarter, after halftime, after Kumbaya with the coach and the team, they fell flat. Milwaukee Bucks outscored them 43-32 in the third quarter. And that's when the tide shifted. And shame on them because they really had the Bucks' number,
That's what I'm
for the
saying.
first part of the game.
They had them and they allowed, I don't, I need Boston Celtics to figure out who's going to close out these games. Who's closing the
Stop,
game? Because
stop.
there's no way that you're going to have both Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum do 25 points each, 50 points combined.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you got Marcus Smart. Like, it's just what
Yeah.
his. I mean, I think he may have 17 points or something like that. Like, what's going on? You guys have beat the Milwaukee Bucks twice this year,
Yeah.
twice with and without Giannis, with and without Middleton on the court. You guys had it now, and then here come after the halftime, and y'all fall flat.
Completely
You
flat.
can't.
And it
Can,
continued into the fourth quarter. The Bucks outscored them 27-19. And Giannis, with his defensive effort, it's just, is he defensive player of the year this year?
Giannis is good.
Ooh.
I would not. I wouldn't be. Oh. From an excitement perspective, yes.
Yeah, he's so long and athletic and covers so much ground. And you know what I like about Giannis is he doesn't give up on the play.
No.
If he get beat on one side, he's gonna give it to you on the other side. He's not gonna stop. He is relentless.
I just like his progression. He's gonna always get huge accolades from me because of his progression in the league. I
Hmm.
love that. He is someone who these players should aspire to be, in a sense that I may not have been my strongest when I started. I may not have shot the best when I started, although I was good enough to make it to the league. But now you cannot even touch me. And that's who
Yeah,
Giannis is. So
yeah.
the fact that he was able to turn it on after being out, let y'all thought y'all was gonna win this game the first two quarters, and you guys forgot that I still am the man. Like,
Hmm.
was a two-time MVP?
Yeah.
Like, you just think you was just going, you're not. And I just won the chip, please.
Yeah, he definitely exuded sheer dominance.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
goodness. 36 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists in his first game back. Celtics should be ashamed of themselves allowing that to take place.
They should be ashamed of themselves. I had the Celtics winning, but I
Hmm.
ain't mad at the Bucks. I'm not mad at I'm not mad at Giannis and the Bucks.
Right, right, exactly. I think I picked the Celtics too to win this matchup just because they beat them before. But now the Celtics were also depleted. I think we should also mention that Schroeder was out, Horford, Grant was out, Enos, Freedom, Josh Richardson, and Nesmith. So they were a little depleted. So it's not like Coach Udoka had a full deck, but he did have Jason and Jalen. And now folks are saying that maybe the Jason and Jalen little connection is over, and you called it.
I told you in a previous video. I don't know which one it was. Go watch our videos and you'll find
Yeah.
it. But I said I can see them making a trade. I can see Boston making a trade where on the trading block midseason would either be Marcus Smart or Jalen Brown. I can see it. And not that I want it to happen, but I think if the Boston Celtics want to switch up their roster and
Mhm.
come up with a different strategy, somebody has to go. And
Yeah.
I like the Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown connection. I think it's really great. They work well together. They put up nice numbers, but maybe
Mhm.
that's not what the Boston Celtics team needs, right? So, yeah, I'm not surprised that that discussion is it's going to continue to, they're going to continue to talk about it. Now, whether or not it comes to pass, who knows? But it's going to be a part
Yeah.
of the discussion the closer we get to the midseason trade deadline. Yes.
Oh, that's too bad. So the Bucks beat the Celtics 117-113. Next game was the heavy hitter match. I mean, the Golden State Warriors went into Phoenix Arena, and what happened there?
Shut it down. Shut it down. Let me tell you though, that was my most anticipated game. I
Yeah.
believe that I did peg that the Warriors would come out of this game victorious, and they did. However, I do see some holes in the Warriors game that they will need to kind of correct as the season progresses, especially as they go into the postseason. What I did
Mhm.
like most about this game is that I can tell you right now, we're going to see this matchup in the postseason. It's
Oh,
going to
yes,
happen
yes.
and it is going to be amazing. One of the holes that I see is that they need to figure out what they're going to do with the five position. How are they going to manage that front court play making and defending and all of that
Mhm.
when other teams have dominant bigs? That could be something that will hinder the Warriors from moving forward. So just something to think about. They figure out a way to get around it, yes, but that could be a big hole for them.
It's huge. I'm telling you, JaVale McGee and DeAndre Ayton exploited the hole in the Golden State Warriors' armor.
Did,
Lucky for
yes.
them. I mean, Steph didn't really shoot well. I think he had an impactful game. Draymond
Mhm.
Green was amazing, but for me, the two stars of the show were Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton II. I thought Gary Payton's defense was fantastic, and Otto with the clutch shots in the fourth quarter. I'm telling you, they were not ready for Otto Porter to hit those shots. I mean, Phoenix Suns were kind of like, oh man, we need to guard him too, because he was fantastic in the fourth quarter. I picked the Suns to win that matchup
Mm,
only because of the size in the middle. And Aiton had a fairly decent
yeah,
game because
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
I
JaVale
still
McGee did as
think,
well.
yeah, JaVale McGee. Oh
Hmm.
man, talk about JaVale. I mean, he is so long and athletic, and they needed that rim protection when DeAndre Ayton might be in the mid range or doing
Hmm.
something different
Hmm.
or sitting down on the bench. So it's great to see. That's a fantastic matchup.
The thing about the Warriors, however, what gives them the edge above the Phoenix Suns is that you don't know who's going to show up from the Warriors. Who
Hmm.
knew this would be Otto Porter Jr.'s game? Who knew? When I tell
Nobody
you that
knew.
man, it got to a point where I was like, he was probably telling them, "Where you want me to shoot this from? Watch this.
Yeah,
Oh, you want me to
yeah.
shoot it from here? Like, how do you go one side of the court, hit the mid range, the exact same spot in the other on the other side
Hmm.
of the court, hit the mid range, and then go hit a three? Like, it was just
It's
like
like,
he was
oh,
like,
I
"What do you want
know.
me?" Because the Suns were like, "Oh, okay, how we going? Because we got to make sure we double team Steph because we don't want him to get the ball." So now we
Hmm.
got Otto Porter Jr. just shooting like it was. But that's what I like about the Warriors overall. Think about it from the full roster of the Golden State Warriors. You
Hmm.
don't know who you don't know. I expect Draymond Green and Steph Curry to do them all the time, right? Steph Curry sometimes it's shot whatever, but he's gonna get his right. But you don't know if it's gonna be Otto Porter Jr. this time. Oh, are we looking at Poole? Is it
Yeah.
Lee? Who is it? Like who
Yeah.
Wiggins? Is he gonna get his? Like what does that look like? And so teams don't know how to they can struggle with strategizing because these people will come up in the end. They'll come through
Yeah.
in the clutch. And you're not expecting that. So I think that's one of the benefits that the Warriors roster has on all the teams in the
Mhm.
league is that they have players on their roster deep in the bench that can come in and be the ones to just set it off. Anybody can close, I think, right now on Golden State Warriors. You never know who's
Yeah.
gonna come up in the clutch.
Yeah, and one thing I love about the Warriors is they are willing passers. Like they didn't have Jordan Poole, Wiggins, Damian Lee,
Yeah,
Iggy. They still
yeah.
don't have Klay Thompson, and Moses Moody was also out. The Phoenix Suns were basically fully staffed.
That's my point. That is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So who else? Who is going to? So Steph doesn't always have to be the one, and I think I appreciate that. Now, yes, I
Hmm.
know Draymond Green wants, and they want to make sure he gets the ball. But Steph, I think he knows that if somebody else has a better shot, I'm gonna give it to them.
Yes. His ego is not so big where he's like, nope, I got to take the last shot. He will pass it. That's what I love about him and the entire organization. They seem like a really fun group of guys to be around.
Yeah.
I love little Draymond Jr. on the sideline. He's so cute.
You know what though, and let's not forget about the rookie. What in the? I said, now if you gonna come into the league, you want to come in on a team like that.
Hmm.
Kaminga,
Oh,
Kaminga.
Jonathan Kuminga. Yeah.
He played a good game as well. You don't know. He was a really great defensively too.
Oh, yeah.
Really, that game was really good.
It was. So the Warriors defeated the Phoenix Suns 116-107. Next up was a pretty good game. Brooklyn Nets went into Los Angeles without Kevin Durant. And to be honest with you, I had some air let out of my balloon knowing that KD wasn't going to play. I didn't think it would, as the games went on and after watching the Suns and the Warriors, I felt a little let down originally, but the Brooklyn Nets and Los Angeles Laker game ended up being kind of entertaining for me and very comical at some points.
I'm just gonna. Here it is. I'm not feeling the Lakers. I'm not.
Mm,
I'm not feeling the Lakers. I don't like this roster at all. I don't like this roster. LeBron James is going to be LeBron James, and he's going to put up. He's going to do it all, right? But unfortunately, that supporting cast,
mm.
it's not enough. It's just not enough. It ain't. It ain't it. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Well, I picked the Brooklyn Nets to win this
I
matchup.
did as well.
I'm a certified Laker fan, but I knew that the Nets, what? The Nets were playing without Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge, Kyrie Irving, who's, in protocols and
Mhm.
expected back, and also Cam Thomas. Now, what I did like from the Brooklyn Nets was James Harden put on a show. He's almost back to his original self. And that was
Yeah.
exciting to see. I also like what Nick Claxton was able to do and the
Yes.
two-handed smash on LeBron James. Funny thing is, they showed so many highlights of LeBron, even though they lost the game because I think he surpassed Kobe with most points on Christmas Day. Yeah. That's great. But it's funny. You mentioned this in our previous episode. Watch the highlights. Why are we watching highlights of LeBron James?
Why? That is my
They
point.
lost.
They lost
Yeah.
but they do that for the Lakers. They do that for LeBron James and the Lakers all the time. If you didn't watch the game, you didn't know the box score, you would have thought the Lakers actually won that game. Oh,
Yeah.
you can get some good highlights, but them low lights, show them. Then you're gonna see why they lost, right? I know they. I don't care how great the team is that plays up against LeBron and the Lakers. The highlights will always be favored in the Lakers, even in losses. No, stop doing that. We shouldn't even
Mhm.
really be talking about the Lakers. It really need to be about the Nets because they balled out. And I was like, oh, look at Houston James Harden. I said this to
Yeah, the
myself.
original. Yeah,
I
exactly.
was like, oh my gosh, he did really well, and Nick Claxton wasn't afraid. I loved it.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing is for sure: the Brooklyn Nets came out in the first quarter and put their foot down on the Los Angeles Lakers, outscored them 38-23. Okay, Lakers had a little bit of a fight in the second quarter, were able to come back, outscore the Nets 39-28. I said, okay, we got a ball game here. After halftime, the Nets were like, okay, no, we don't. Outscored the Lakers 36-20. And then in the fourth quarter, the Lakers tried to, they had came back from, I think, 18 and 23 points respectively. And, they just didn't have enough. LeBron
They-
did all he could, but I'm telling you, everybody is ragging on Russ. Everybody's talking about him going for that dunk at the end of the game and missing it. Everyone's talking about his turnovers. Can we talk about Carmelo Anthony not showing up?
was he
Can we
even on
talk
the
about
court?
AD sitting on the sidelines? I mean, can we talk about that? The finger pointing at Russell Westbrook is just getting out of control. It's getting out of control. We need to talk about LeBron James not getting back on defense. Can we talk about that? It's just frustrating. And I can only imagine how Russell Westbrook feels.
Can we talk about them standing around on defense?
Yeah.
Can we please discuss that? Really? Can we also talk about Patty Mills putting up them 8 3-pointers? Can we
Can we?
who else did that on the Lakers? Who?
Mm-mm.
I'll wait.
Yeah. And they Lakers brought in Darren Collison, thought he was going to do something. He dropped a donut. Happy to see him. But the funny thing is, because Darren Collison was signed on a 10-day, IT did not see the court at all. Is the IT experiment over?
At this point, LeBron mentioned one of the post games was the chemistry. Is it the chemistry or is it the hustle? Like I can't. It's not good. It's
Yeah.
not good to watch. It's not good to watch. And yes, LeBron James is playing phenomenally. Yeah, of course he
Mhm.
is. But the Lakers roster, the
Yeah.
rest of the team, they can't get a
Yeah.
win. You gonna
And they
have them
played
come.
without.
They came to the new crypto.com arena
Oh,
and
God.
I don't like that name either. But
I
anyway,
don't like
and
that
y'all
either.
no, it's gonna always be Staples Center to me.
Always.
But anyway, how you just gonna let them walk in here and lose?
It was something. Malik Monk played really well first game back after, coming out of protocols. Lakers were still without Avery Bradley, who I guess he cleared it, but he was in street clothes. Austin Reeves is out, Ariza, and then Kent Bazemore, who hasn't really impacted the game much. But needless to say, IT didn't play, Rajon Rondo didn't play, and Dwight Howard
What is up, Alonzo?
played like 6 minutes, was very unimpactful. It's a shame. I like Coach Fizdale, though. I like Coach Fizdale. Always loved him when he was with the Memphis Grizzlies coaching. I think he, came up under the tutelage of Popovich, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Mhm.
But I like the way he coaches. It's just that these are unprecedented times, and the Lakers and the other 29 teams in the league are no different. Everybody's going through it.
different.
So I don't really want to hear it.
No different. I say that because when KD was the Lone Ranger, dealing with all the various same issues that every other team in the league is dealing with, he was still able to get wins from the Brooklyn Nets. When I'm looking at the GOAT LeBron James, what is it? Is it the roster construction? It has to be. So how y'all gonna change that? Oh, you can't. So this is what we're gonna be looking at for the rest of the season? Oh, yeah.
Well, the way things are going, we won't be looking at them much longer because there will be no play-in or no playoffs for the Los Angeles Lakers if this continues. And I'm really serious. And I'm a certified Laker fan. And it hurts me to say that because I would love to see Russ in the playoffs and finally get a ring, but I do not see it happening. They're probably going to trade him. I don't know how, with the amount of money that he's due, $91 million over the next 2 years. People look at his stat sheet, they say, wow, he's almost averaging a triple-double, but man, these turnovers, oh my God, his decision-making, I'm not willing to risk it. So unfortunately, the Lakers are probably going to be 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Right at the end of the season, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And can I just, please don't say certified Laker fan again.
Certified.
I just really want you to. You are a certified Laker fan because Russell Westbrook is on the team. Let's just be honest. If he gets traded, you will no longer be a certified Laker fan.
And that is correct. Yeah. So the Nets defeat the Los Angeles Lakers 122-115. And the last game of the night was the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz. The Dallas Mavericks are playing without Luka Doncic, which was unfortunate. They are also depleted. So many teams, I'm telling you, Tim Hardaway Jr. was out, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Maxi Kleber. These are key players for the Dallas Mavericks, but Utah, the Utah Jazz are mostly healthy. Like everybody, I don't know how they were able to stay healthy through this period, along with the Phoenix Suns for the most part. But it's great. And quite naturally, Utah Jazz beat the Dallas Mavericks in this matchup. I picked the Jazz to win this game.
Me too. And they should have. There's no way that you can be semi-healthy, play up against a team that's depleted and lose.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Not when we're talking about a team that's in the top 3 of the West. No, they had to win this game, right? So they were supposed to win, and I'm glad they did.
Donovan Mitchell had a pretty decent game, dropped 33 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, and his sidekick for this game. And see, like the Phoenix Suns, like the Golden State Warriors, you don't know who it's going to be, but for that game, it was Bogdanovich, 25 points, 4 rebounds. Nice. So the Utah Jazz, they protected their home court, defeated the Dallas Mavericks 120-116 to close out the Christmas Day games. What a day. Oh my goodness. So many players in protocol, but I think, it ended up being okay. I wasn't really excited, to be honest, but the games were okay.
They were okay. You play who you're playing. You play who you're matched up against. Whether that team is healthy or not, you still got to play because you never know, right? So I think the Christmas Day games did what it was supposed to do. It kept me entertained. Yes. We got some great talking points from it, and we are able to see how teams can perform when they're not fully healthy. I think that's another takeaway from me. It lets me know that there's other people on certain rosters that can still get the job done when the core scorers or the core playmakers are not able to play. And it just brings that out. And so that's why the NBA said, okay, now you just bring in people that are two-way, they can play as many games they want to play. That's why they did that, because they know that these teams are going to be depleted, and we can no longer really use it as a crutch or as an excuse, because every team is going through it, even the coaches. And as you think about it, I was reading something where, was it Utah? No, Golden State Warriors, they have 4 coaches in health and safety protocols.
Right.
So there are some coaches on their bench as well. So, play who you're going to play. Make sure you play the best, and that's it. And you're going to win.
And that's it. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap up this episode on our Christmas Day recap. Make sure you drop down in the comments and let us know what some of your favorite matchups were and some of your takeaways from the Christmas Day games. Thank you all for watching. We will see you guys on the next one. But until then,
Peace.
peace, y'all.